Here we go. We're going to do 10 major developments taking place right now as we enter the new era. I suppose by way of a little bit of a preamble, this summer is going to be a little bit different. It's kind of what we're going through now is a little bit different to where we hope to be launching into in September. This summer, we have 3 venues currently on a Sunday. We're about to go to 4. So Steve Green is leading the venue in Goole, and Andrew is leading the venue in Cottingham, where they have kids work and stuff like that because the venue can cope with it. I'm leading the venue in Hessel, and then Chris is going to be launching a 4th venue for us. So we're giving people more and more choice this summer as everybody gets more and more confident through June, July and August. So that's what's happening there. And of course we're throwing in the odd drive-in so we can all come together. One of those is happening on Father's Day. Look for your emails to come and join us if you want to. So that's what's happening this summer. But as we look to September and beyond, let me just share with you a lot of the things that we're trying to land. Are you ready for it? Here we go. 10 major developments in Revive as we enter the new era. In at number 1, should we do the young people first, right? Okay, let's do the youth, then the kids. Youth, the Revival Nation and other kinds of youth stuff is just taking off. I'm so proud of Matt and Emily and others, all the team, and all that they're doing to absolutely cause the youth and then the kids work, we'll talk about in a minute, to take off in this season. It's been really hard to do youth and kids work under lockdown, but Matt and Emily are coming up with fantastic plans. It is just taking off with not only 2 in-person services on a Friday in Hull, as well as online stuff still going on. And then you've got Rise Up Lads and Rise Up Girls, trips, pizza, laser, bowling, hanging from ropes, all kinds of stuff, picnics, parks. It's just exploding at the moment, which is really fantastic. So get your kids to Youth Revival Nation. It's doing incredible stuff over in Goole as well. Steve over there, they've bought paddle boards, they've got paddle boards. They're going paddleboarding on the river, on the canals and stuff like that. Really good stuff going on in Goole too. They're having heaps of fun. So well done, all the guys over in Goole. So youth is absolutely taking off. We are investing in kids. Matt and Emily are doing a fantastic job. So get your kids there because it's getting really busy. Even in the holidays, we're expecting to do intensive weeks of fun and the fire of God moving and stuff like that. We're expecting creativity to begin to bubble up. We want to get the kids trained and up and running in worship and the arts. So get involved. Revival Nation is taking off. In at number 2, I feel like I'm doing Top of the Pops. It's so cool, this. Again, with kids, Revival Kids is really getting busy now. And, there's heaps of social stuff going on. It is parks, picnics, trips, little get-togethers. But this is so powerful spiritually. Don't just think, well, it's just fun. Our kids need their mental health to be blessed. They need the therapy of heaven and the therapy of good relationships after such a difficult year. So again, so proud of Emily and all the team that are beginning to draw the kids together and to do lots of in-person stuff. Let's just pray we have glorious weather all this summer while we start to gather kids and do fun together. And the Rise Up Lads and the Rise Up Girls projects that they're doing are so good. There's slightly crossover between Revival Kids and Revival Nation, but I know Zach, my own son, has been absolutely loving what they've been doing. So get your kids, I think it's 9 to 14 year olds, involved in Rise Up Girls and Rise Up Lads, and let's have them being ministered to as these incredible little concepts to just minister to them at their age range and then kind of lift them, begin to take off. Get your kids connected in. We've got prophetic words about Revive just being full of children. And I have just such a heart to see that the young generation come through on fire for God, spiritually trained, mature, growing, blessed. So we want to bless the children of your family. So get them along to Revival Kids, get them along to Revival Nation, because those ministries are getting very, very busy. I'll say more about what we're doing in the community for kids a little bit later on. But again, so grateful to Emily and all she's doing with Revival Kids. In at number 3, I want to make it really clear that as we come into this new era, we feel God's been talking to us about building a house of prayer, a house of glory, a place of encounter. Prophets like Lana Vorster have been talking about places on the earth that house wells of glory, and that's who we want to be. While we are a church, our primary emphasis isn't to just do classic churchy things, let's say. We really want to be a place of the presence of God, a place of deep prayer, a place of encounter for the region, the nation, and beyond, where people can come and be in God's presence, because something happens to the atmosphere when there's a group of praising people that, as it were, occupy the realm of the heavenlies and fill it with praises and fill it with prayers. It's like the RAF that control the skies while the troops are working on the ground. And so we want to be doing that and building a real house of prayer. Sharon Stone even prophesied that when we would build our building, we wouldn't be building a church in a classic sense, but rather a hub, a ministry training center, a nest, a resource center, a place to go from and be deployed from. And that's what we're going to be doing. Building a place where people can encounter God. And then this goes to my next point, point 4, which is a people that begin to be mobilized. Just a thought before I go to point 4. My mum, in the church she was in, I guess it would have been in about the 60s, they were having something of a move of God in the church, and people were meeting God and getting filled with the Holy Spirit and being transformed. Now, look what happens when people meet God, because some people will worry, if you just have a place that's a house of prayer, will everything become insular and inward looking? No. If it's a true house of prayer, the opposite will happen. Isaiah 6, when you meet God, your heart goes, here I am, send me. If you truly meet God, you actually don't want to go back to the house of prayer. You need to get out and go to begin to do stuff, and you only come back to be refreshed, ready to go out again and follow God. When my mum was in a little bit of a move of God in the 60s, you know, all of her youth group ended up on the mission field, ended up in ministry, ended up being pastors, ended up going out to transform society. It's what happens when you get a move of God. Everybody wants to give their lives for the mission of God, not play at church, but to head out and do all that God's called them to do. And so the reason I feel God is calling us to be a house of glory and a house of prayer is because he is going to mobilize more people than ever. Okay, so that's what we're about. We're not about becoming insular. We're about truly encountering God, not just encountering church and services and singing. Encounter God and your heart will be moved and you'll be sent by God to do something that he's wired you from the beginning of time to do and to bring transformation to the world. And so we're building a house of prayer, and I'm not saying that we're going to do 24/7 prayer and just pop up a rota and there we go, tick, we've done it. It's about truly being a place where people encounter God. David Hathaway, a significant apostle and evangelist, he's essentially Russia's Reinhard Bonnke or Russia's Billy Graham. He's just seen such a harvest in the kind of the Russian side of the planet, as it were. And he was in Hull, and he prophesied. He said this: I see the spiritual leaders of Hull holding gatherings where there is worship and arts and intercession and evangelism, and somehow these all come together and lead to revival. Well, we're going to begin to just act on that word and create a gathering place for worship and prayer and intercession and arts and evangelism, knowing that it can lead to a great move of God. So that's what we're doing. We're building a house of prayer, a house of glory, a place of encounter. And it will result in us needing point number 4. Point number 4 is that we are unveiling a new mobilization strategy this summer. Revive has always been a family of charities and ministries and ministers, not just a single organization with an organizational structure. We are more of a network of friends and family and charities that head out across the face of the earth to go and do good. We touch thousands of people every single week, from food to education to medical care to youth to all kinds of stuff going on all over the place. But we're not a single organization. We're a network, a family, a tribe, all running after the call of God. We're not even a place that serves one vision that might be mine as a senior minister. I think you have powerful visions from God, and my job is to help facilitate the dream that God gives you. And this mobilization strategy is going to help us to do that even more. It's a way of causing. We might have, about a dozen mobilized ministries right now, different ministries around the world. You saw a lot of them in the first song that we played today, those pictures of lives being transformed because people got a dream or a call from heaven. And then we found a real simple, non-cumbersome way of just going, hey, let's release you to go do that. And then, then we remain part of the family. We support, we encourage, we approve, we pray. But it enables people to be empowered and move forward with what God's called them to do. Now, the mobilization strategy is going to be really, really simple. It means that a ministry, without becoming a department of the church, can still have representative on our executive team, so we're able to connect with what you're doing. I'm just reading off a little list here. We've got prayer cover for those who want to start ministries. There's a pool of personnel that can help you within the church. There's signposting to training resources. There's promotion, there's provision, there's premises, all kinds of things like that. We want to support your dream. And as the summer goes on, we will unveil the simple way that we can help you launch your ministry to transform the world in the way that you feel called to do. So, once your heart has been touched in the presence of God and you've encountered God and you know what He gave birth to you to do, we have a whole setup that empowers you to go do it, that has got care involved in it, but it's not bureaucratic and cumbersome. It's releasing and powerful. So that's our new mobilization strategy being launched this summer 2021. In at number 5, it is our plan to rent a large retail space in Hull for 1 to 2 years so that we have a place to settle and base ourselves and build a house of prayer and a place that we can mobilize from. So change of use is in right now because we need to change it to a place of worship. It's a large, beautiful space, tons of space for us. We'll be able to do socially distant services there because it's huge. So really pray as the change of use planning is going through right now. And what I'd really like, what I think could well happen is that we're able to get in there for August and begin to kit it out. And then from September, we'll be able to start holding services, doing all of our events and praying and training, etc., family events and stuff like that in there. So a rented space for 1 to 2 years while we get on with point number 6. In at number 6 is the new building on Kingswood, which, as you know, has been going on quite a while. And I'll be honest, I've been down in the dumps at times. This has been taking so long, and I'm sure you've been down in the dumps too. Trust me, it's been frustrating for absolutely all of us. And yet, in the last couple of months, we've had really good conversations about the new building with people that can really help us. It's a really interesting time. Building just after Brexit and with COVID going on, it leaves a lot of things up in the air. And yet, as we've sat down wondering whether, this big project is really going to come off, as we got to a really good stage, planning is in, technical drawings done, we really are at the stage now of builders quoting to build the building. And that is actually going on in the background right now. A builder is quoting and helping us to value engineer and look at ways that we could do certain things a little bit easier and make it really work for us. But I have to say, the level of cooperation and kindness that we're finding as we're having meetings about carrying this thing forward and building this permanent home for us on Kingswood where we really want to be is going really, really well. I've had conversations that are worth hundreds of thousands of pounds, and we just need that favour to continue. So keep praying into that one. The plan is, while we are in a rented space in Hull, so that we can settle, because all the moving around and the hiring and only having a venue for a Sunday, so you rush in, you set up, and you have to rush out. It's very hard to build a powerful, presence-filled culture when you're running around lots of venues in the way that we have been. We really wanted to settle, so the rented venue is really going to help us to do that. But the plan really is to have that permanent home on Kingswood. So pray that that continues to go well. We need the favor to really turn into some fleshed out plans that are doable. We still need miracles, even though we've been having conversations that I would say are miraculously kind and really, really useful. And so we really have taken some big strides forward in the last couple of months, even having been stuck for about, I would say for 18 months, I would say pretty much for the length of the pandemic, it's been difficult. But in the last 2 months, encouragement after encouragement. So pray that that continues. Pray that that really begins to accelerate. Pray for the builder that's going to quote, and for other organizations and places of authority that are being really kind right now. We want that to increase and to accelerate. So ideally, what I'd love to happen is that we're renting a building for 1 or 2 years while the new building is being built, and we can simply shift from the one to the other, from the temporary home to the permanent home. But it really gives us places to settle, expand, and to grow the work that we know God wants us to do. We want to build that base, that training center, that community transformation center up in the north of Hull. So keep praying that the favor of God keeps unfolding. And as soon as we can start to have more in-person detail meetings, a bit like AGMs and informational type meetings, I can't wait to sit and for the directors and I just to be able to answer questions and go into more fine detail. It's just not appropriate to do it online like this, but the headline is, it's going really well. So keep praying for more of that, please, because we want a permanent home so we can move forward. In at number 7, I want you to know, even though I'm talking about these in-person services and these buildings, we are not going to stop ministering digitally and online. So we're going nowhere. We intend to keep ministering online to all those that are far from us geographically, can't get to services. Maybe you're homebound. We consider it is not second class if you're connecting with us online. And in fact, we do hope to be developing that more and more over time. And even these new buildings I'm talking about, you can come and join us. Damn the wonder of social media, YouTube and things like that. So don't worry, we ain't going anywhere. We want to continue ministering to you, and we consider you part of our family too. The 8th major development at Revive is that we have joined a network called Churches in Communities. This is giving us an increased sense of accountability for our ministers and chaplains, appropriate to how God is leading us these days, as we're developing a little bit of a fledgling apostolic tribe to who we are, churches connecting to us. I'm aware that we needed a higher level of resource to give us accountability and a sense of home and resource too. So we've joined Churches in Communities, which is, well, how can I put it? Hugh Osgood is the leader, and he is the free church moderator in the UK. Think of it like this. You've got the Archbishop of Canterbury, head of the Anglican Church. You've got the Archbishop of Westminster, head of the Catholic Church. Then you've got Hugh Osgood, who is the free churches moderator, in other words, representing all those other churches. And we've joined the network that he leads, Churches in Communities, and it's giving our ministers, chaplains, a higher level, a better level of accountability than we've had in the past. Now, that of course means that for practical purposes, we have left Assemblies of God and moved to Churches in Communities, because essentially we're not going to pay for both. Literally, that would cost, the equivalent of a wage to be in both, and we can't do that. Our heart is 100% behind AOG. We love them to bits. We honor them. The reality is that probably over the last few decades, we've grown more and more apart, and so the sense of using the resources available there has diminished incredibly over the years. And in fact, we spend more time with churches that aren't Assemblies of God churches than with AOG churches, but our history is there. We love them to bits and we honor them, but for practical intents and purposes, we are now part of Churches in Communities, which is giving, as I say, our ministers a higher level of accountability. We're getting near the end now. In at number 9, back to Kingswood. We are reopening the community centre at Kingswood, the little space that we've got downstairs in Kingswood House. And we fully expect that to get busy once again pretty soon. We've got some events over the summer, as Emily's doing a brilliant job of just beginning to reconnect with the mums and the kids that were involved in the toddler groups and stuff like that with Little Angels. That's all going to be relaunching as we hit September, and we expect to be very busy with doing things that will connect with and transform the community in Kingswood, so that we are fully connected there, so that once our building is built, we can transfer all the stuff that we do there over to the new building and add loads more, and we pray become a real community hub for the people of Kingswood to be touched with the gospel of Jesus Christ. And finally, in at number 10, there is still lots of other strategic reviews that are going on right now over this summer. We're reviewing small groups and how they will operate in the new season. Pastoral care and integrating new members into the church. We want to make sure that really is ready for growth. We are expecting a move of God, lives to be changed, people to get saved, and we want all of our amazing pastors to be ready for that, but not overwhelmed by that. So we're reviewing our pastoral care as we're getting ready for growth. We're reviewing prayer, of course, so that we can adjust it to really facilitate a house of prayer and a well of glory being among us. We're reviewing the collective, how our network of churches connects to us, and that's been growing a tiny little bit under lockdown, and we're just holding back from pushing it too much, but the expectation that will really grow. We are allowing not just church leaders to come into the collective, but we're looking at business leaders and kingdom influencers and artists and itinerants and missionaries to connect. So again, we are able to really create a family that knows how to, number one, meet God, and number two, be mobilized to go and transform the world. So we're reviewing all of that over this summer. And, you know, as part of the collective, I can't wait to be doing Refresh Leaders Forums in person again from September. That's all going to be happening. We're reviewing some of our locations. In some of them, the leaders are no longer present. In others, the leaders really want to reevaluate what they're doing for maximum evangelistic effect and stuff like that. So we'll be announcing how each of the different locations are changing, if they are changing, throughout the summer as we talk to leaders and review what's happening right across the region. And I would say the other big kind of strategic review is whenever I've managed to sit with a team, and that's just starting more and more now. Had a great day with the team just yesterday, just talking about and praying and prophesying over the future. But it comes up time and time again. We want to spend more time as a whole church doing things that make us more like family. It's hard with a commuter church. We do spread right across a wide region, so it is quite hard, but we know that our future is going to involve more food, more fun, and more family than ever before. So look out for those things to be incorporated into all we do in the future. We know that we need to do more than church services and prayer meetings and even mobilized ministry. We need to be friends and to hang out. We want it to feel like a band of brothers and sisters on a mission to transform the world together. But we know we need to work hard at creating that togetherness feel that has been, well, attacked, let's say, by lockdowns more than ever. So we're acutely aware. God help us to put in place ways to be, in real natural and fun ways, more of a family than ever before. Well, I hope you got something from that and you feel a little bit more informed on the inside of what's going on at the moment at Revive. Change is here to stay, we always say at Revive, don't we? There's heaps going on, but keep praying for me, pray for our directors, pray for our executive team. That's our, kind of the core of elders and deacons that leads the church. And just give us wisdom and favor. Pray for all those mobilized ministries, and just pray that we will march through this summer and on into some real fruitfulness in the months and years to come.